On this blustery day, I am at my desk researching how to know good sources. I've had the weekend to argue with somebody about various aspects of the coronavirus, and their basic premise is, how do I know? All opinions matter. So let's find out, how do we know? So I'm going to start with the Iowa Lakes Information Literacy Guide. It's at the address at the top. If you go to this guide, you're going to find various resources. On the media bias page, there are types of media bias, a description of what media bias is, and a couple of charts. So their question is, how do I know these charts are accurate? Who's that person? How do they know? So the way to do that is to go to those sites. So if we go to the person, we click on this explanation, we're going to see an inactive chart. And you can go through this and you can click through these different resources here. But what you want to look for any kind of site is the About page. Now, I'm not saying to trust the About page. I'm saying that you should find it. If there's not an About page, it's not a good source. So she's talking about her methodology, her blog, who the founder is, and we'll look at that in a second. Let's first look at the About. So this is about this person, Vanessa. Now, who is she? She's an attorney. This is her background. Now, do we trust this? No. I'm not saying it's a lie. I'm saying you want to find other sources. And so we do a quick search for this person, and we're going to find a variety of resources. The first one is going to be LinkedIn. Now, if you don't know this, LinkedIn is a site you can put your portfolio, your links to things you've done in your career. It's a nice place to go for that. So I got my bookmarking site for my portfolio. Twitter, no, that's where she's talking on Twitter. Are those good places? No, you are controlling the content in those spaces. Here's her actual company that she has now. Absolutely, you want to know about them, which we already looked at that one though. Her Facebook, and that's fine to look at, but again, she controls that source. So now we're getting to other sources. Now, the first one I see is MarketWatch. Now, do I know who MarketWatch is? I have no idea. So I'm going to go to one of our sites, the Media Bias Fact Check site, and I'm going to search for MarketWatch. If I scroll down, you see that it's right center. So you want to use sources that are between left center, and right center. You want very high or high factual reporting. Mixed and lower, you absolutely do not want to trust. So this one has good facts reporting, but it is a little bit biased, but still within that range of what we find acceptable. You can do the same thing that I'm doing here with the chart. You can look at this up for this site as well, because there are other researchers. These are all researchers doing this. So if we look at the MarketWatch article, we want to look for a couple of things. Okay. So there's some things you're going to notice. There's ads. There's an ad for Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal, if you look at Media Bias Fact Check site, it's going to be high factual reporting and slight right bias. I'm not sure how far on that site it is. We have it says in one chart, there's the title, when it was published. So this was put out in August of 2019. It's fairly recent, not, in the last couple months, but last year. And the author. You can click on the author. We'll look at that in a second when it opens. If we scroll down, so we want to do that. We want to know who they are and should we trust them. If you read through there, it talks about how she got her start and why she's doing the chart. And they quote her as saying, a whole society can go from illiterate to literate in a generation or two. And that was her goal. So this is one of the charts that she has. She talks about what it is. And they kind of make a little joke here about what her decision through her research on Fox News, MSNBC, themselves. So she says that they are balanced. Right. So they are basically backing up what she said about herself. So we're fact checking, is she who she says she is? they're looking at that. We looked at to see if they're a good site. Let's go and see about this guy. So who's Sean? It doesn't really give me much. So that's not a good about page. Same thing I did with her. You can go and search for him. Other places you can look. So you can do this for him as well. There's search here. Here we go. So on Wikipedia. Now Wikipedia, again, people can change this, so it's not the end-all place. But again, you're looking at multiple sites. So if we look through this is about the media company that she runs. And it talks about the origins of that company and her chart. Columbia Journalism Review questioned the thoroughness of the chart. The 5 or 20 stories are typically just a small number. People that are rated badly by these charts do not like the chart, obviously. So Alex Jones does not like this. He's InfoWars. So there's a kind of a quick review. Now you can go and look up Columbia Journalism Review. This is a magazine for journalists. So if you remember, what a journalist is a professional writer. They are trained to go out and research a topic and to interview experts on the topic, and then they give you an assessment, a review of what is found. If you go back to the chart, there are other sources to look at. You don't just look at one source. So down here we have other fact-checking sites. So again, take those sites and go to these other sources. Try to find out what they give. There's a scorecard here. It's a broken link. So you can look through these and you can find other sources to look through. ProPublica, Snopes, that's a great one to use. And if you look at sites and they're like, no, the fact checkers are wrong, there's a good chance the person you're reading isn't a good source to use. That's not absolutely 100% true, but there's a good chance. So if you want to go through and look at these different kinds of sites and try to find what other people are saying about that source, you look up the author of that source, and when you look up other sources, you look at those authors, and you have to try to see what's real. And after a while of doing this, you'll get to know which sites are good sources. You just have to keep trying. And once you have that, you start to trust those few sources and know what sources you just are never going to trust.